Hi team, today I'm giving a podcast on role-based access control. One of the important topic in CISSP, CISA, CISM. I received a lot of feedback regarding to cover the RBAC topic in my next podcast, so I thought I will cover today the RBAC topic. So RBAC basically stand for role-based access control. So RBAC is an access control policy or a group or system that restrict the information system access to the authorized user. So organization basically create a specific roles. Uh, they create a specific roles based on the job functions and user add into that particular job function to perform their activity. So any question specifically talking about user job functions, user manage access, uh, common user permission across the organization, answer is RBAC. So next question, which is normally every candidate is basically struggling with the RBAC is a which kind of control? Is it a DAC or it is an NDAC? Actually, RBAC is a form of DAC, discretionary access control, because roles in these conditions are defined by the manager or HR, and the access is basically determined by the owner accordance with the company policy. Example like we have a owner there. So owner creating one folder and he wish to add a backup operator in that group. Backup operator is basically part of my team. I add him into the backup operator group. So here it is my decision to add him into the backup operator group, and it was the owner decision to add him into that particular folder. So that is basically called as a DAC. So in RBAC we have a different type of RBAC. One is basically called as a non-RBAC. The non-RBAC is simply a user granted access to data or an application by a traditional mapping such as ACL. Example like we have a user one, it has a different role for application one, it has a different role for application two, instead of carrying a one role across the organization. That is why it is called as a non-RBAC. Second is basically called as a limited RBAC. In the limited RBAC, what happened is we introduce a one role called as a backup operator. Now what we did, we add a user into backup operator group. So he will carry for application 1 backup operator, for application 2 he carry network operator, and for the application 3 he has a custom role. It means we introduce some roles. Along with that, we also introduce some custom permissions for the other applications. We introduce RBAC but not fully. That is why we call limited RBAC, which is basically achieved when users are mapped to the role within a single application rather than uh, through an organization-wide role structure. So user in a limited RBAC are able to access the non-RBAC based applications or data also. The key attribute of a limited RBAC is that roles that user is defined within the application, not necessary based on the user organization job function. The next thing is basically called as a hybrid RBAC. It is a third type of RBAC. Hybrid RBAC is basically introduce the use of a role that is applied to a multiple applications or a system based on a user specific role within the organization. So role is then applied to the application or system that subscribe to a organization role based model. Hybrid itself say that combination of two. The example like I am a backup operator. So for application 1 and application 2, I have a backup operator permission. But for the application 3, I have a system operator plus a custom access. Reason why in that system we have a some critical data, some sensitive data. So I cannot have an end-to-end administrator group permission in that application 3. So hybrid is where we have a role A. We have a role A for application 1 and application 2. For application 3, we have a custom roles. Along with, we also have a role B for the same application. So that is why in one application, we have a RBAC and non-RBAC function that is called as a hybrid. And full RBAC, as you know, one function like backup operator across the organization, or you can say one particular group which is basically have a permission across the organization. So if I add a user into backup operator, he will perform the backup operation across the organization. So full RBAC are control by a roles defined by the organization policy and access control infrastructure and applied to the application and system across the enterprise. The application systems and associate data apply permission based on the enterprise definition, not based on the specific user. So RBAC where the access decisions are based on the subject role and the function position. So this is all from my side in the RBAC. Thank you.